Politic. Авторская программа Кирилла Задова, посвященная текущим мировым проблемам. Politic. Предвзятый обзор, субъективные комментарии и искренние оценки Кирилла Задова. С понедельника по четверг с 4 до 5. Politic. Сказал, как обрезал.
Приветствую, друзья, с вами Кирилл Задов, это Politic. Сегодня 14 февраля 2024 года, среда. День всех влюбленных, но это не та программа, где обычно мы это отмечаем. Сегодня у нас special treat. К нам прибыл уже в студии Nicholas Chamberas, политический стратег республиканской партии. Сегодня мы поговорим о многих моментах, которые, я уверен, интересуют всех наших избирателей. Это очень важно. Напоминаю, друзья, что вы можете писать. Это интерактивно. Можем легко с вами пообщаться. 347-460-0877. Задавайте ваши вопросы. Для тех, кто в прямом эфире меня смотрит, ну, опять же, тех, кто на YouTube-каналах, там можно подписаться. Это будет на англоязычном YouTube-канале моем выставлен. Его тоже можно найти. Вот, интервью, естественно, будет по-английски, разговор по-английски, но я думаю, что для нашей аудитории это никогда не было проблемой. И, скорее всего, не будет и в этот раз. По крайней мере, я надеюсь на это.
Politic. Сказал, как обрезал.
Nicholas, welcome on board. It's
Thank you,
to
Kirill.
see you here.
So happy to be back.
Right, and the situation is so tense, and it's just going to, the intensity is just going to increase, like with November coming up.
Oh yeah, I thankfully have calmed down from last night, but yes, the the campaign intensity, it's only going to go up from here.
Were you involved in Santa's replacement election, like actively?
Not actively. I certainly encouraged people to vote, to volunteer, to get involved, to donate, but I had no direct role in the campaign.
Let us remind our audience that what happened. The Republicans lost.
We lost. Yeah, that's an understatement. I don't know if there's a stronger word for it, but it was not good.
It's a huge defeat, you're saying?
Well, I think for right now, Democrats, they're rejoicing, they're dancing, they're using it as an opportunity for propaganda. But for Republicans, this can certainly be a blessing in disguise. It's a wake-up call.
Well, we had a lot. Midterms were a wake-up call.
Well, in New York, though, because we had.
It's a Long Island, right? It's a Republican area.
Yeah.
How could we lose?
Well, we didn't learn from the mistakes of the past. We're not always going to be able to have a very strong candidate at the top of the ticket, galvanizing the voters, driving them to the polls. Last time
by galvanizing and driving them, you mean not charismatic enough?
Well, I think.
Because if you have let me put some meaning in what I said. Like DeSantis is a charismatic guy. So when DeSantis on the ballot, for example, in Florida as a governor, it brings everyone there. Nobody gonna stay saying, I'm not interested, I'm not gonna go vote. Against and pro, everybody gonna go vote. So with the Republican Party in Long Island, where
and
DeSantis
a small part
won,
of Queens, yeah,
right,
yeah.
Didn't have anyone who can galvanize people enough, charismatic enough. Where the leaders are, what's going on?
Well, she got a lot of support. I just think when someone else is at the top of the ticket, they also have more resources. And I don't accept this excuse. Some operatives mentioned, I think the RNC even mentioned that they were outspent 2-1. We can talk about that later. But I think the key takeaway in this race, a lot of people are searching for answers. If you're running for office and you don't immediately introduce yourself to the voters, tell them what you stand for, what your ideas are, what you oppose.
But that you do, I'm sorry for interruption, but that you do with commercials. That you gotta have a...
Whatever way you do it.
Finance for this.
If you don't do it right away, if you don't introduce yourself to the voters right away, rest assured, your opponent will do that for you. And this is what happened in this race. For whatever reason, Ms. Politic did not really get out there fast enough, and Swazi was able to paint her as an extremist, as a flip-flopper. It's almost as if they borrowed a page from the Republican playbook of Bush 2004 with Kerry about him trying to have his way on every issue.
I don't think it was a problem for Bush to defeat Kerry. Just women wouldn't vote for Kerry because Kerry is aside all his political standpoints and what he was and his seasoned Democrat also and seasoned politician by the time, but still he was a senator for many years and very rich with a lot of resources, and Mr. Ketchup, as he was called, whatever. But charisma, not comparable, like it's like Hulliver and Lilliput. I mean, this is nothing. And how could Democratic Party came up with Kerry in the first place to defeat Bush? It's strange. He was probably popular by the time. He was just winning the one war. Insurgency wasn't that bad by the time yet. And in Afghanistan, he did a pretty good job. First, like 4 weeks of military campaign, 2001. And mission accomplished speech was an amazing speech. I was so pleased with that Saddam statue brought down from them in 4 weeks into invasion. I mean, and I was a person who supported invasion, as many Democrats, by the way. I was a Republican by the time, and Democrats, Hillary voted for, Senator Hillary Clinton voted for invasion. So it was like we were restoring our hegemony. That's one thing but also probably that Kwesi, he is seasoned politician, more advanced, as with more experience.
Look, yes, that's true. Swazi is a very seasoned politician. He knows how to play the game. But look at what happened. So Governor Hochul and Tom Swazi, not the best of friends. That's an understatement, right? He ran against her for governor. He lost the primary. When they saw this opportunity, they patched things up quickly. They buried the hatchet. She supported him, made sure he had all the resources. I think Mazi has a bright future in the Republican Party. She's young, she's dynamic, but with a candidate so new, you have to go in with all the resources right away, not piecemeal. This didn't happen. There's no reason we should have been outspent in this race. You know, you have people saying it like it's some kind of quick fix explanation. Oh, we were outspent. Okay, so what?
So spend more.
You were outspent 2-1. What are you telling me that you're not going to be outspent 5-1 next time? You just lost this race in a special election in a Democrat enrollment district plus, right? You just lost this race. What makes you think donors are going to want to spend more next time? So this was a big opportunity that we lost. I really think we need to do some serious introspection. Enough excuses about the snow and the abortion. Voters were not thinking about abortion.
They do. But
not
in New York, they know that nothing gonna happen anyway with that. We are not with immigration, not with city refuge. Everything gonna stay as it is, as long as Democrats have a solid majority in the city at least. But the thing is, I think that it's another time very painful. We see that Democrats are more organized.
Absolutely.
Great point. More strategical. They have more resources. And we just underestimate everything. We don't put enough in New York, in the state also. The same probably happens in the Senate. We don't have a majority.
Oh, you would be...
Everything is the assembly. Everything is one chain. It's just it links in one chain. That is, it's a trend.
Kirill, I want to go back to Mazi.
Right.
I wasn't going to mention this, but I want to. You're very good at baiting me. I told you at the beginning of the show. You're not going to get a rise out of me. All my tension was allayed yesterday. It was gone by this morning. So I had a couple of meetings recently with some campaigns in New York for the state senate. In some districts that should be very competitive for us, with some good candidates. And I was blown away by the meetings I had with these people, and not in a good way. I mean, just naive about what it takes to run for office against an incumbent state senator, a Democrat incumbent state senator.
Who is right now a senator and just wanted to be reelected, right?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's against the current.
Exactly.
Obviously, you have to do it with more force, even more force and more force.
Kirill, I was taken aback. I had one meeting in particular where this person was calling themselves a campaign manager. Never ran a race before in their life. Really did not know much about campaigning post 1980. And this is the person they're entrusting to a seat that we should win. I don't want to name names. I don't want to get into specifics.
Don't do it.
But
we shouldn't.
I just, how are we going to win? How are we going to change things? You know, I'm very fond of a political mentor of mine, and she always talks about this. And it applies last night. It applies to a lot of the candidates who are gearing up on the local level to run. She says, the Democrats play chess, we play checkers.
Right. It looks like that.
And, you know, going...
I mean, we're stupid, right? It looks like they're much smarter. Like crazy smarter.
They're more unified.
They go 1, 2, 3 steps ahead already.
Yes.
And they're unified. But that is, it's brotherhood. I mean, it's not brotherhood, but it's kind of... They know that if they're gonna relax, things gonna start to change. They don't want it. So they understand that it's a fight, and they gotta be in a fight, and they're gonna put resources, they gotta put strategical thinking, doing this and that. I mean, whatever happens is only because we don't we have enough smart people in the Republic.
We have plenty of smart people.
So what's going on?
We're too smart sometimes.
Too
headstrong.
I can believe this.
Too headstrong. Everybody has their own opinions. It's harder for us to compromise, I think, and work together. But with
strange. This is strange.
Well, with Mazi, I mean, you saw the rollout was delayed. That allowed Swazi to define her as an extremist. I mean, calling Mazi an extremist is rich. I mean, that's hysterical. It's ridiculous. But he put it out there. So what is she doing? She has to be responding.
Right.
In politics,
reactive. Reactive is bad. You got to be proactive. Right.
When you're explaining, you're losing.
Right. Because, yeah.
She should have come out from the beginning. Tom Swazi has open borders. Voted with Biden 100% of the time. There should have been 2 issues in this race, and 2 issues only. Not abortion, not gun control. Should have been the economy and the border. Should have pointed out repeatedly and in very simple terms. Swazi votes with Biden 100% of the time.
Okay, you brought up borders. I want to do it later, but okay, because you brought it up now. What do you think? What is your take on policy on the border? How it should look like?
Happy that Mayorkas is impeached.
You're happy with this?
I'm not a fan of impeachment. I'm really, really not. I'm strongly opposed to it. But this is, and I don't like to use fortified language, but if ever anyone could make a case that this is treason, it's here.
But listen, don't you think that what is done, impeach a sitting secretary with no chance of passing that impeachment to Senate, is just a theater? In this particular point, I agree probably with Democrats, because whatever they say, I don't agree with what they say that it's unconstitutional, and it's a hypocritical position, because they were doing the same to Trump during his term in office twice, knowing that it's never going to pass Senate. It was just political stunt, whatever they were doing. But now, it's just a secretary, and he's not going to resign. He's going to continue to do what he's doing. And they now saying that Republicans in the House, they're just wasting time on political theater instead of really doing something for border policy. One
key difference. Both impeachments against President Trump were shameful shams. Embarrassments. Let's talk about this.
Yes, you're right. It was witch hunt. It was they didn't let them work. They were doing all the special counsel stuff, and special counsel Mueller came out after that and said, listen, it was nothing. It was nothing. And they still were doing impeachment for this. And then Ukrainian whistleblower that call with Zelensky. Also, everything was, it's a conspiracy.
We have the transcripts of the call.
Right.
Ridiculous. No objective person, again, you can be partisan.
And also, I'm sorry for interruption, but also we have to know that it's a president, and president, under Constitution, he's supposed to secure the national security of the United States. I'm sorry for repeating, but in order to achieve that goal, the president of the United States has the right to do anything to other leaders of other countries to achieve the goal. So if he's saying he won't get any finance, if I won't get info of the vice president in the time before him, while Biden was vice president, doing some probably dirty stuff, and I want the info, that's a national security matter. If vice president of our country is involved in something that resembles corruption, it's obligation, it's a necessity for our United States of America to know that exactly what happened. So please provide us with documents and everything we can have. Otherwise, you won't get our financing. We cannot do it. This is crazy.
Something like 16 people were on that call. I mean, come on.
Right.
That's the difference. Mayorkas, however, is breaking the laws of the United States. We do not have an open border policy. It's not in the Constitution.
That's true.
No one ever voted for it. We let in 170 terrorists last year. We let them walk into the country. 250,000
in December were just arrests. To say that they're terrorists, we don't know that.
No. 170 are on the terror watch list.
Really?
That is a fact.
They came to
But nobody wants to talk about this.
To South?
Yes.
Yes. I didn't know that.
And like I said, I don't take impeachment lightly. I've got to say the stuff when they're talking about impeaching President Biden, I'm keeping an open mind. But again, there has to be, for us to delve into that, I mean, there has to be a slam dunk case against Mayorkas. And I know partisan Republicans will say, well, there is a slam dunk case, etc., etc. Mayorkas is deliberately allowing an open border. I'm sorry, if you allow 170 known terrorists to enter our country, 170. So let's see. There were 3 to 4 crews, 4 person crews for 9/11, right?
There were 25 people on boards of 4 planes. Altogether, I think 25, something like that.
So basically...
Yeah, but they're not simple people. They were trained in American pilot schools. They were people very intelligent, smart, and savvy. And they were they're not just soldiers. They were officers. All of them were on very high rank in their terrorist organization. In Al-Qaeda, they were on a very high level. It was
right. Well, we don't know. I mean, these all could be the best of the and the brightest of these disgusting terrorists.
Still, after 2001, everything that happened, and Patriotic Act of Bush, and very tough control measures that were implemented after that, and unifying all database of all national security bureaus and agencies that we have, and secret services, and it's one database now, according to Patriotic Act, at least. And still, we're letting those people coming to the border. This is incredible failure.
How many criminals have we let in? Do you know?
That we don't. We never know.
Yes, we do. We actually do.
No, we know whatever we know. We
as
don't
of
even
now.
know. Yeah, we just don't
as
know.
Of now.
As you say in Venezuela, Nicaragua, those people. Venezuela is most criminal people. They are most criminal. Or Salvadoran also. And Honduras people, that some of them are really not... I always remember... When we talk about that, and people talk about that, I remember Tony Montana and Scarface singing in front of Homeland Security. There was no Homeland Security. A cross of officer of refugees.
We have a number twice the size of the city of Buffalo of Tony Montana's in this country now.
Right.
We have...
But so what... I'm sorry. Just for sake of our time. Tell me exactly what is your policy on the border. Imagine that you are Secretary of Homeland Security. What you gonna do?
We need to close the border.
You will shut the border?
I wouldn't shut the border down. We need to secure the border. And I'm not anti-immigration. I just want to say
I understand.
We're a country of immigrants.
Right. You are Chamberas, I'm Zadov, and I'm an immigrant in the first generation. You probably
proud immigrant,
right.
Proud son of immigrants,
right.
Proud first generation American. There's room for immigration in our country, within reason. And I'm not one of those elitists who only wants to bring in, microbiologists.
Right.
I think we should have a process where people can come here legally. But people are playing by the rules all over the world. They're waiting in line. I have a friend who has relatives in Colombia. They've been waiting 10 years because they refuse to break the law.
In Colombia, you mean Colombia?
The country, Colombia. They've been waiting 10 years. They would tell them, we'll get you. No.
Yeah, but you can wait for 10 years. I'm sorry for interruption again. You can wait 10 years if you're in a civilized country where drug cartels not shooting each other and some civilians are coming in crossfire. That's one story. When you have to run for your life with your family, with no stuff, and you come with one carry-on suitcase and kids and wife, and you're running literally. So then you cannot wait in line. You have to be able to pass. how you gonna treat those people? What's gonna happen to them?
Well, again, legally,
at least till you start to solve the problems in our backyard.
President Trump solved it. You remain in Mexico. No one's going to bother you in Mexico.
But at that time in Mexico was also not safe. You know what? I came to Mexico City once in my lifetime. It was like in March 2021, and I came at night. I'm sorry for it.
No.
I came at night, and I wanted to go because I've never been in Mexico City, and I want to see it. So I open Expedia and what to do at night in Mexico City. First thing, you know what I read on the official Expedia site in Mexico City? They said, if you are a tourist, do not take a yellow cab.
Really?
Even during the day, don't do it. Why? Because gangs, they know that you're a tourist. If you're in a yellow cab, they might kidnap you.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, Mexico is a serious country. It's not failed state now, at least now.
No.
So I was like, I'm going to stay in a hotel for all night. I'm not going to do it. And it's not safe even in Mexico City. What are you saying, Ciudad Juarez? It's safe? It's not safe.
So, look, you can always make arrangements for the safety of asylum seekers if the two countries cooperate.
You're right.
So that's not a really big
That's what Trump, by the way, did with Obrador.
Yeah, absolutely.
But other Mexico also can, but we need to finance the process probably, and we need probably involve still our troops. I strongly believe that you cannot just treat symptoms, you have to treat the problem. Mm-hmm. And the problem is failed state all over. We have Venezuela, we have Nicaragua, we have Honduras, Salvador, Ecuador now. Everything is South America except for Argentina, and we don't know what's going to happen. I just came back from Buenos Aires. I've been for 2 weeks. It's not stable. It's not stable really? Because of financial situations, 260% inflation. So next, what's going to happen next? It's also going to feed those migration drive that we are witnessing right now for the last couple of years. What we have to treat the problem, and for that we need now enormous amount of resources. Democratic administration not going to do it. Trump also didn't do it, and he won't going to do it. We don't have a policy how to help those countries to help those citizens of those countries to remain in their countries, respective countries, not to come to America, because America is so. First, what you're saying, we have to make a very selective and enforce a very tough process for admitting them to immigration thing, right? But not shutting the border.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, all those countries are now incentivized to send millions of people here. They're not, Venezuela is not sending their best students here. Somebody with a 45 is not an asylum seeker. Let's get the crap. This is causing havoc in our cities, in our towns, in the border towns. New York City is going to go bankrupt if this keeps up. Mark my word.
$100 billion budget. Some countries don't have that kind of a budget. And we're going to go bankrupt? Yeah, it could be.
It's not sustainable.
No, the problematic is understood. I'm just saying that still, I don't see any, in whatever they're doing right now in House, there gotta be some kind. What was bad about the deal that Senator Republicans?
It basically legalized illegal immigration. You're getting 4,000 illegals per day,
but
that's
not
allowed.
For just to give them pending status and to treat them very fast. In the deal was very fast processing time, and under any circumstances, officers could decide on the spot that this is it for today. Everybody else just go back
not
without.
True.
No,
that was
that's
not
what
true.
I read in
look, I listened to was it Langford from Oklahoma? I watched him on Killmeat, and wow, what he was saying is, you're looking at this, and then you look at the fine print. All of these provisions were reversible. Yes.
What do you mean reversible? It's a deal. It's law.
No. Obama could have suspended these at any time. They snuck in also hundreds of thousands of H-1B1 visas. Now, H-1B1 visas, separate issue, worth taking up. Why are you sneaking this into that bill? It's why so many Republicans get discouraged and don't vote.
Remind, please, our audience, what's H-1B visa? What is that?
So they're really work visas for professionals.
Oh, that's a different story completely.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So why is this in that bill? And I'm not opposed to that.
And what they were saying, increasing quota?
Big time. Yeah, even for
that's
the
not
children.
Bad, but that's not bad.
Separate issue though.
Right.
Don't commingle it.
I agree.
And
but it's they always And everybody puts something else, like we call it train thing. Like everybody puts something in the bill. You want a big bill? Put something else.
This was the big ugly.
Why?
You provide
you
lawyers.
Need professional, but you need professionals. You need technical. You need engineers in the country. We need them for our future. We need them now.
We need a certain amount of engineers. What was happening under the Obama?
We have such a big deficit. We have such a big deficit.
What was happening in the Obama administration is basically they were using H-1B1 visas to suppress wages of STEM disciplines. A lot of engineers were being forced to train their replacements as they were being laid off.
Well, that's very interesting.
There was rampant H-1B1 abuse. These are supposed to be jobs for these are supposed to be for people to be hired for jobs that can't be filled by Americans. And the history of H-1B1 abuse is rampant in this country.
You know, Obama, when he was and after that we're going to go for a commercial break. Obama used to say in his first term that, according to my opinion, I'm citing, with any master degree in American university for any foreign student for like real thing, like for math or for like mechanics or stuff like that, green card should be attached, stapled. If you give an American master degree to any foreign student for real discipline that we need for our economy, attach green card to it. And I happen to agree with this. I think that whatever we, in our best universities in the world, in America, if we give person education in very hard subjects and discipline, that person should stay in America because it's going to create our jobs. It's going to create our technical progress. That's going to feed us. That's a good idea, I think, also.
So can I do you have time for me to...
Yeah, answer, please.
Okay.
Sure.
It's interesting you brought that up. It has to be about fairness. It can't be about what your discipline is, because we have a lot of students here in science, technology, engineering, mathematics who struggle to find jobs. It has to be about fairness. This Obama used great language. It was really propaganda for great effect because Obama wanted open borders. It worked
for me, right?
Open borders all the time. I want to share a story with you about, if we have time. I don't know if we have
1 minute.
Okay. So I had a very close friend who lived in the United States. He, brilliant. He won Article of the Year in Physical Review, the world's preeminent journal in physics.
Right.
He had one bad semester. He had some personal issues. Don't want, just silly stuff. He got distracted. He did bad one semester. He had to leave the country. He's now a professor at McGill.
Oh, McGill.
In Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huge loss. But we need fairness. We need procedures for all. We shouldn't be picking and choosing. And
we can, as a country, I have to tell you. If we have a need, we can, at a high level, we can say, that discipline.
You know what kind of need we have in this country? It's not about what you're studying in college. It's about your resolve to come here, work hard, assimilate, adapt.
Agree.
That's what we need.
Our cultural code. Agree. We'll come back right after that.
Бутик-политик. Сказал, как обрезал.
Друзья, с нами политический стратег республиканской партии Nicholas Chamberas. Nicholas, welcome on board. Again, thank you very much.
Good to be back. So I just wanted to make a final point about what we learned about Mazi's loss last night. The 1980s are gone. I don't want to be too stern about that, but I don't want to mention specific races, but how many times do we have to lose before we accept that any substantial, important campaign must invest in get out the vote infrastructure? This does not entail imaginary volunteers that knock on one or two doors. There's modern ways to get out the vote, and the Republican Party in New York State is lagging behind in many races. Just want to say we have hundreds of thousands of refugees we need to bring back to New York. And before people lose their minds by refugees, I mean all our
people who left for Florida.
You read my mind. Florida, right. North Carolina, New Jersey, South Carolina,
right? And
Tennessee.
Because climate also an issue. Look at us. It's sunny, but it's windy and cold.
So many people, they were heartbroken.
Warm them with tax reductions. Warm them up with. We have to embrace them. We have to let them come back.
We need to win seats. We need to win seats to bring back our people. So Let's get to it. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about last night.
How it should be done, though? I want to, then we have only a couple of minutes left. There's no point of bringing up big foreign policy issue now. So just tell me, what do you think should be done? How can we bring them back?
So once you win a couple of elections in key races, the Democrats will notice, and they won't go so hard to the left.
Oh, you're saying that's a way to fight progressives?
Yes. We'll reach common ground. Bail reform. This ridiculous law.
Stop and frisk. We need a lot for New York City, though.
Well,
it's not going to come back, you're saying.
The way Bloomberg used stop and frisk, people might be shocked at what I'm about to say. The way Bloomberg used stop and frisk ruined it. We have constitutional protections in this country. You can't just randomly, without cause, stop people and search them.
But it looks suspicious. That's not without cause.
The way Bloomberg...
And it was very successful, though.
Well...
Ask any police officer. They'll tell you right away. I'm sure you talk to them. If in Bronx or in East New York, if you do that in train station, you're going to be successful.
So, in the way Bloomberg employed it was not legal. And I think
de Blasio, when he was criticizing him in this studio many years ago, when he was not yet not even a candidate, his position was, I forgot how he called it. So he was like
public advocate.
So he was talking about that illegal issues that are in that was right. It was true.
Well, I think de Blasio went a step too far. You can practice stop and frisk, and we should. I don't want your listeners and viewers to think I don't support stop and frisk. The way Giuliani did it was markedly different than the way Bloomberg did it. So,
you know what I have to tell you? It's always going to be very problematic to use the thing, because it's always going to be blame and racial profiling and stuff like that. But eventually, in the end of the story, everybody benefits. All law-abiding people will benefit from this.
I don't think you need to just stop people unconstitutionally in order to have a safe city. The way Giuliani practiced it was different. It was legal. I think Bloomberg just got carried away. I think they were just stopping, and that's not allowed. But focus on broken windows. Focus on fare evasion. Do you use mass transit?
Very rare.
God bless you.
Thanks God.
I use it a lot. You should see. A third of the people don't pay.
That I know. It's
we need to go back to respecting the police, to giving them the tools that they need. This ridiculous law that the city council passed here, basically forcing them to document almost any interaction they have with the public.
No, camera on the body of police officer is not a bad idea.
No, but I don't know if you know this. They have to fill out paperwork now.
After that, every interaction?
Almost.
Even if I come to ask like directions or ask to help to
there's some debate about that, but basically it forces the police to fill out paperwork for almost every interaction. They can deny that all they want. It's true. If we did not lose so many Senate seats in 2018 in the New York State legislature, we wouldn't have passed bail reform. There's a law right now that you have to give the alleged perpetrator of a vicious crime, a physical assault, you have to give them the personal, physical address of the person you allegedly assaulted and their home phone number.
Oh, this is crazy. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. Next time you come, we'll discuss exactly that. We'll start from this, God willing. Nicholas Chamberas, political strategist for Republican Party. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kirill, for having me. It's terrific.
We'll continue that. It's very interesting for me. I'm sure our audience is also excited. Thank you very much, Nicholas. And I'll see you. We'll see each other.
Thank you. Sounds good.
Бутик Политик. Сказал, как обрезал.